Hey everybody, Metalslug991 here with Heellucas on YouTube as well.
What's
And
good, guys?
today, wait, no, what do you say? I'm sorry.
I said, "What's good, guys?"
Oh,
You gotta allow your guest to speak. I thought you were
I
the
know.
podcaster. Don't you know this stuff?
Yeah, I know. But today, in celebration of the new 2K25 coming out in the early release after all, coming out in literally a few weeks. Like, what? How many weeks is it coming out in? 4 weeks, 5 weeks, I think, for early release. What we're gonna do is that we're gonna tier rank literally every single SmackDown versus Raw game through 2K24, from starting from the very first SmackDown versus Raw all the way to 2K24. And I was gonna do every single WWE game that ever has been made. I couldn't find a tier list of every single game on it, so we're just gonna tier rank the main line series pretty much from its inception to now. So
But just know that WWF No Mercy is on the 7-star FTR level.
I have that game. I played it, and I mean, here's the thing. All right, so I played.
No, you better not say anything. You're gonna get in controversial trouble here.
No, no, no.
Do you want to remain in the wrestling community? You
Yeah.
bash that game, you're excommunicado. You don't get to remain in the game at all. You don't get to remain in the community. That's the
Well,
GOAT level of video games. You trashed it, this stream is over.
wait,
I will
wait.
leave.
What's your thoughts on WrestleMania 2000 then?
I don't know. It's probably like a copy and paste. I mean, I played the game, but I don't have as many fond memories of it as I do WWF No Mercy.
Have you ever played WCW versus NWO World Tour in Revenge?
I played the backstage brawl game or whatever that one was of WCW.
Yeah, that one sucked. I'm sorry, that one sucked.
I played the ECW game a little bit. But
I know the ECW game.
of course you do, you fucking Mark.
I don't have the sequel to that game. They made a sequel, but I don't have it. But
I'm pretty sure it was shitty. I mean, ECW stood for extremely crappy wrestling. Just ask, Jerry Lawler.
oh god. Anyway,
Just messing with people, of course.
anyway,
Heel at heart here, of course.
we're gonna get started by tier ranking this these list of games. So I guess we'll
Which I will
start.
probably be the expert on because I have played all of these games here for the most part, except for two of them.
So let's. Oh, I forgot. No, we forgot the Legend of WrestleMania is on this list. Dang it! Oh no,
Oh,
wait, it's right here. Sorry, never mind. It's right here. Anyway,
there it is.
anyway. All right. So this is what we're ranking by. They're all wrestling terms, by the way, people. We have the 7-star. Oh hell yeah!
Oh hell yeah, Sean.
Mama mid.
No, you got to say it right. Mid. It's MGF. You got to hold that mid.
And then American Nightmare, and then Go to Sleep GTS.
Yeah, the go to sleep part is not because it's supposed to be fun. That is because the game puts you to sleep.
All right, so I guess we'll start at the very beginning, which is 2K14, and then
That
we'll
is
make.
not correct at all.
I
I
mean,
mean,
that's not.
if you want to go out of order, but I mean, if you're trying to go in order, like SmackDown versus Raw, but if you mean like through what the images are showing, I guess we could do it that way. But
No, let's just start at the beginning. It makes more sense. You're right. Let's just start at the beginning. So I haven't played this one, but the very first SmackDown versus Raw, where you put that?
put in the hell yeah, Sean. It deserves a oh hell yeah, in my personal opinion. So I will talk about the game. SmackDown versus Raw basically kept the same type of wrestling style that SmackDown Here Comes the Pain had. It did limit the backstage area, which was definitely a downgrade to make it not a 7-star. But the story mode was still fun and good, and as well, it was the first actual wrestling video game from the WWE series that included voice acting from the other wrestlers, not as the wrestler you played as, but it was the story mode that you got to choose anyone that you wanted to play as, pretty much, from the wrestling roster. So it was still fun. Intergender wrestling was still in there, and you could still create a lot of crazy high spot moves that you were able to do in Smackdown Here Comes the Pain. So it still created a lot of fun for it as well, in my personal opinion. It's a game that people still go back to play.
All right, that's cool. That's pretty cool. I mean, I gotta play. I mean, I feel like I should go back and play these older games at some point too. I just haven't yet. Um, what came after that? 2006.
Yep.
That's
SVR 2006.
or wait, is this 2005 right here by 2K20?
There,
2006.
there, what are you talking? Oh, there is no 2005. It's just 2006.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah,
where
they
you
never.
put?
2006. I think I could put it in the hell yeah category still. Um, 2006. Oh god. Um, shoot, the story modes. I remember playing those a lot because I got to play with many different characters. Chris Jericho, another Chris who we don't mention. Undertaker. There was still like a lot of people that you got to play as, and stories were fun that you got to create in there. Well, not the stories that you got to create, but the story modes that were there. That was the first match they introduced the Buried Alive match. The first game they introduced the Buried Alive in. GM mode. That was the first debut game that introduced GM mode, and not only that, but on the PSP, you were able to play WWE trivia. You were able to actually play poker with the wrestlers as well. You got to play as Michael Cole and Jim Ross playing poker as well. So I never knew how to play poker, but it was still fun to play as, just to play as the wrestlers playing poker. And that was a lot of fun there to have travel on the road while I was like doing vacationing. It was the first game to introduce the stamina system, which to me, I don't know if you were able to turn that off or not, but I never really liked how the stamina would drain originally, especially because like you had to hold like a circle button there to regain your stamina. I understand the whole realism aspect of it, but it just kind of slowed things down a little bit. So the wrestling was still fun, but that kind of just threw things off a little bit that I remember that I did not like as a kid. But still going back to be able to play some of your favorite wrestlers and still the voice acting still in the games made it really cool. And it was actually that your character now also had voice overs themselves. Like they made everyone to do voiceover in the games. So hopefully the wrestlers got paid extra for that.
So wait, would you consider like? Do you think it's better than the first one? Would you put it above the first one, or do you just leave it like behind the first one?
I think that I would probably put it, where it is. I think SmackDown versus Raw. I mean, maybe it's a controversial opinion, but they did make the game a little bit more realistic. And to me, the best games are the ones that don't follow through on too much realism in wrestling video games. Why do you think people still talk about SmackDown? Here Comes the Pain. You can jump off Times Square. You could jump off a light post. Jump off a helicopter. You go and freaking smash limos and all sorts of that crap there. SmackDown vs. Raw 2006, in the backstage brawl, they still had a lot of that stuff. Like you could, literally put your opponent inside the hearse and it gets driven off. Put them inside the hospital, and put them inside the hospital or the ambulance, excuse me, I think. And you could literally throw them into JBL's limo and then drive a car into JBL's limo as well too. Literally commit murder in the game.
All right, then.
But I just I think that we were like still limited because in SmackDown versus Raw you could throw like depending on what arena that you were in, but you could throw like the ladder on top of an announcer's table and then like jump off the freaking announcer's table with a ladder laid upon it there. So you still got to create a lot of cool high spots there, We like being spot.
Wait, you were able to set up the ladder on the announce table and climb the ladder on the announce table?
Yep. You could stack tables on there. You could put 2 tables, throw the ladder on top of the tables, and then stand the ladder on top of the tables and jump off that.
How's that impossible?
Because it's not supposed to be realistic. It's supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be stupid.
I know. I'm just saying that, like, if anyone tried to do that in real life, I'm looking at you, Jeff Hardy.
No, Jeff Hardy wouldn't do that. You know, well, I don't know. He's just spot monkey.
But like, yeah, that would not be possible in real life. Anyway, 2007. Where do you put it?
7-star.
7-star.
I think SVR 2007 definitely gets a 7-star for that one. You know, again, the story modes in that one great. That was the debut of Money in the Bank introduced in the game right there. You know, there was a lot of new wrestlers that were added for the first time. Mickey James, the Great Khali. You know, I'm sure I'm missing a lot others there. But I'll never forget, you know, that they had challenge matches, you know, that, you know, you got to play is that you had to play as Mickey James versus the Great Khali in that matchup. And man, was that hard to do, to do that match right there. I think they also made you play a match as Rey Mysterio versus Big Show, or it was Rey Mysterio versus the Great Khali. That was another challenge match to do. But that also was the first time I think we saw the ECW arena be brought back into the game. It was either that or SVR 2006, but I believe it was 2007 because I think Taz was in that game as well, if I'm not mistaken, because I think it was that game I made Jerry Lawler and Taz fight a lot.
Well, because I think it was 2008, I think, what was it, 2008, 2009, 2010 were the 3 SmackDown vs. Raw games that said featuring ECW on it, and I think that started in 2007 because in 2006 ECW became the 3rd brand, so I think they introduced in 2007, but they slapped the logo on the cover in 2008, I think.
Sounds about right. But yeah, I just think that, you know, still the wrestling was great in that one there. Yeah, I would say 7-star. Like, it's been a while since I've played some of these games, but I just remember that, like, how, like, between SmackDown vs. Raw 2006 and 2007 was the one that I would go back and play the most between those two, that I had the most fun with, you know, that I would go back and replay more, you know, given the option.
That's cool. I get that, yeah. So, next up, SmackDown vs. Raw 2008 featuring ECW. Where you put it?
I would go. So this will be something that people will probably disagree with, but I would say at 7-star as well.
Above 2007?
I don't go by that one. As long as it's in the ranking, it's in the ranking. I don't care. Like, oh, who's first? What's on second? I don't know who's on third. But 2008, I would say, again, the stories were right there, and the voice acting, again, was, you know, great. And that was the first game to bring back Jeff Hardy, so I would play as Jeff Hardy, like, all the time with I think they call it 24/7 mode, basically. That was you trying to achieve so much greatness that you got introduced into the Hall of Fame. I don't know if I ever actually completed 100% because I would always enjoy it a little bit, and then I got curious about testing a new wrestler in the story that I was playing, so I always would feel, I think I pretty much a lot of times always like did something different. But what I really love is the fact that the 24/7 mode allows you to play as wrestlers, but also as general managers as well. Now, in this mode, for the GM mode, I feel this is the most realistic version that you get, even to this continued day, because you're not only booking the shows, you're booking where the wrestlers get to go, whether the wrestlers are going to train and do a promo training, or whether they're doing to work on their technical wrestling, their speed. You get to send them to do promotional stuff with people, make movies, or go to do charity work, things like that, and you make a profit off of that as well too. So it's not only just you booking the show, it's you booking the schedule of where you're sending your roster out to do things. And I think that that was the most realistic version of GMO that you get, because it gives you the power of not just what you're doing on that night of your show. You get to take everything from outside the ring as well too, and how to improve your wrestlers, and how to make sure that you're not just drawing in money from your shows, you're drawing in money from outside sources as well too. And that's where I think that 2K lacks a little bit, and I don't know if they're going to do that with 2K25, but it is really something that they need to take inspiration from in SmackDown versus Raw 2008, is to allow people to have that type of creativity to utilize, improving a wrestler, not just oh, I feel good because I won my match, but also improve their uh, ability inside the ring. And again, just stupid stuff to just send someone to do, like charity work, and things like that.
Well, you,
But
I
again,
mean,
the wrestling was good there. That we brought and Extreme Rules. Something I forgot to talk about with SVR 2007, actually, that was a big talking point, was the fact of the guardrail area that you got in there. You could jump off a scaffolding onto an opponent, through a table. You could pick up crowd signs. If you're a babyface, you could, point at them and celebrate. If you were the bad guy, you got to take the sign and rip it up there. And you got to take weapons from people, or you got to, drag your opponent to like a championship title, a fan hand, and throw them into it. SVR 2008 kind of had the same thing, except with the Extreme Rules, you got to taunt with the crowd, or if you're you're the good guy, but if you're a heel, then you would just like fake a punch, like you were gonna punch a fan and laugh at his face. I remember this. My favorite one is when a fan was holding the soda. You put the guy on the barricade, you stand on it, step on the opponent's back, you drink it, and like spit it out at the
yeah, I
crowd like
remember
a
that.
freaking Sandman. Oh, it was great. I love that.
Now, do you know what though? Like, no. Speaking of Mickey James and the Great Khali, do you know how many pictures I see on Twitter and everything every day when they post something, when they post about 2K25, about like, oh, I'm ready to let this match happen. Of like they post that screenshot of that match every single time intergender things come up.
Yeah.
Well, here now we're going into the territory that I'm familiar with, because now we're on to the game that I started on, the first WWE game I ever played, SmackDown vs. Raw 2009, featuring ECW. And um, can we agree it's a? I mean, from what I remember, it was good, but from what you're telling me about these past games I even haven't even played yet, 2009, looking at it in our retrospective of both of us looking at it, kind of seemed like it was kind of a downgrade from all those past games, because there was no GM mode in 2009. They're extreme, like I think like there was backstage brawl, crowd interaction, all that stuff, but
The backstage brawl definitely downgraded. I don't even remember if there was a backstage brawl in 2008. There probably was, but it definitely was not really that memorable. 2009, they had areas like you could battle in the locker room, and they were pretty good, but it just it did not live up to the reputation of what we knew from backstage brawls beforehand. 2009, I would definitely say, took a little bit of a downgrade. It was the first game to bring in the Road to WrestleMania storylines, um, which it had a multiplayer Road to WrestleMania with Batista and Rey Mysterio. So that was pretty. Are you seriously going to put it in the go to sleep category?
no, I'm trying to figure. I'm just hovering over where should we put it.
I'm thinking at least mid. No disrespect to it. but I don't feel it lived up to the promise of it. The biggest talking point of 2009 that they were really hyping up about it was the fact of like, oh, create your ultimate tag team and things like that. I remember what I do remember is some of the Road to WrestleMania storylines that were pretty good, like how they actually, made MVP into a pretty big deal with his John Cena storyline. That was pretty good. I enjoyed that it was Chris Jericho's first return back to a wrestling video game since 2006, and they gave him a Road to WrestleMania, so that was kind of cool. I forget. I think I don't know if we had a creative wrestler storyline in Road to WrestleMania. Probably should have done research on this stuff before, but I'm just going off of feeling. That's, probably the best way to do these tier lists is go off of memory and not off studying. Go off what you feel.
I mean, yeah. I mean, like 2009. I mean, I thought it was pretty good for being what it was, at the time.
Yeah.
Because it was my first game, so.
Yeah.
2010. To me, I would put in the same as I would put in mid as well for me.
Oh hell yeah, Sean!
Because 2010 was.
I disagree with that. I disagree entirely. So much with that.
Why you disagree with it?
I disagree because that was the first game that got us create a storyline where you could create your own story. The Royal Rumble did improve. They gave us, Royal Rumble finishers and
Is that the one where it was online, where you can do the Royal Rumble online?
I don't know. I didn't play online. The first game I probably started playing online was probably in WWE13. Everything else, I really didn't, play online for anything. But it was the first game to bring in creative storyline, and that's, really where, things started picking up for me. And I don't know if I think Universe Mode was brought into that game. It was either Universe Mode was brought into that game or if it was 2011. I want to say it was 10 that Universe Mode was created. But, the wrestling was still good. The Road to WrestleMania and that one there was, the only one that I think I remember with SVR 2010 was, hang on. I think Randy Orton was there. That was a fun one. Was it Randy? Oh, God. This is hard because
do you mind entertaining the audience?
Yeah, it's got to be 2010. That Randy Orton that he had his Road to WrestleMania there. Randy Orton, Shawn Michaels. We had the creative story or creative wrestler one where we went after Vince McMahon. That was a fun one. That was the first time we got to see Jeff Hardy in his face paint in the game. His face painted Jeff Hardy, which is really cool because I remember I found a way to get a glitch to happen where I could get the ladder to get on top of the table again. And that I set the ladder up and I would make Jeff Hardy do swanton bombs off the freaking ladder on the announce table all the time. It was freaking amazing.
Do you mind entertaining?
And we had, Matt Hardy for the heel, there. So it was like heel Hardy versus face Hardy, and it was just cool to create the amount of wars there. And I think that was the first game that we had where Christian made his return as well. Because I remember I had Edge and Christian there and the Hardys. Because I remember the first storyline that I ever created in Create a Story. And it was to try to do the world's greatest tag team tournament. And because I remember that. It wasn't my best story, but it was a lot of fun to create.
Do you mind entertaining the audience for 5 minutes? I gotta go take care of something.
Sure.
Entertain the audience.
All right. Back. I'm gonna do the rest of the tier list by myself. Well, ladies and gentlemen, so usually you can always find me on my YouTube channel. Same thing, Heellucas there. I do a lot of reactions to AEW. You can also find me on the same channel playing wrestling video games as well. Mainly WWE2K19, where I do an AEW universe mode where I take the wrestlers from AEW and put them together with WWE and see what happens where worlds collide. Um, you can also find me there playing Batman sometimes. And right now, it's important just to keep hydrated. So I got this big old gallon of water that I'm pretty much nearly almost gone with. Also, what I was doing earlier was watching ROH. I was watching Honor Club. There was Kenny Omega. There's a collection on there. So I would like honestly, guys, I would recommend seriously getting Honor Club if you don't have it already. It's not just to watch, Ring of Honor, currently it's, make sure to watch like some of the old clips of like Bryan Danielson, Kevin Steen, El Generico, aka Sami Zayn, Kenny Omega, the Young Bucks. You get to see some of the best damn wrestling out there. Lots of CM Punk stuff. You guys love CM Punk. I thought
I'm
you said
back.
5 minutes. I only had to do it for 1 minute. I don't have enough talking points here now.
Well, I'm back. Yeah. So
You gotta
anyway,
do it in the Arnold Schwarzenegger voice.
maybe I'll be back.
I'm back.
I'm back.
Oh God.
I'm better than ever. I'm back.
Torturous. Think of another
Anyway. Anyway.
I like that. I like that song of Eric Bischoff's. It's so stupid yet catchy.
SmackDown vs. Raw 2011. Let me talk about this. SmackDown vs. Raw 2000. Oh, no, wait. We forgot to talk about Legends of WrestleMania because that game came out after 2009. I think, okay, hear me out. Legends of WrestleMania, right? I love that game because it has basically all legends in it, including my favorite, Mr. Perfect. But Mick Foley's on it, probably because it doesn't. It only goes. The game only goes from WrestleMania.
Have a nice day.
No, the game goes from WrestleMania 1 to WrestleMania 15, but Mick Foley's not in the game for some reason. I don't get it. But anyway, Mr. Perfect's in it though, that's my favorite, and I know Shawn Michaels is in it too because he's your favorite. Well, he's in there technically for the import, but
Shawn Michaels is in both. He was his legend Shawn Michaels and 2009 Shawn Michaels.
My problem, well, the good things about Legends of WrestleMania to me is that I like the thing where you can import the 2009 roster and your creations over to the game, which they should integrate in the current games, so we don't have to recreate everything again. I don't know how that's not like common knowledge at this point, but but I mean, like, it was such an arcadey kind of game, which is a good thing and a bad thing at the same time, because I kind of wish it was kind of like a regular, SmackDown versus Raw, but set with legends. But I think the reason they had to make it different was because they wanted to just, do something else. They wanted to use a different idea, and they just wanted to try out stuff. So I think that's why they did what they did and why it became kind of mid.
Yeah, I would agree. Legends of WrestleMania to me was under the mid category. I do remember one big memory of me and my friend were put on an Iron Man match between John Cena and Hulk Hogan, and the match ended in a draw. We laughed our asses off. It was like, oh, of course these guys won't put each other over. Oh, Cena, I can't put you over, brother. Well, I can't. I gotta bury you, Hogan. Nobody buries Hulk Hogan, brother.
I mean,
it was a fun match, and I did like the how the signatures and finishers worked in the game right there as well. About pressing a button and then it lands one move, then it does another move. It was a cool like cinematic type of style to see there. So I did like some of that. There it was unique in its own way, but I just don't know if there was really enough. Like I was like, especially when they put in the SVR 2009 availability to put those guys in the game against the other wrestlers from Legends of WrestleMania. That was definitely a very good idea because then it wasn't just okay, I got to use the Legends that's given to me in 2009. It's like no, you can have freaking John Cena against Jake the Snake Roberts, and things like that. There, Jake Roberts was in the game, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say he had to have been in the game.
But the thing is that the match list, the types of matches you can play in that game are so mediocre. It was crazy.
I wouldn't say mediocre. I would say limited. Tag team matches, the Hell in a Cell match, Steel Cage match. A Steel Cage had to have been in there, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
And maybe a triple threat. I don't know. There's Iron Man match, probably a triple threat. No, especially with how the signatures and finishers worked in that game, it probably had to have all been just tag wrestling. Oh, and the Royal Rumble too.
Yeah. No. Let's tell the story. Me and Luke, right? Came over to my house, and I have Legends of WrestleMania, and we were playing it, and we had Festus in the Royal Rumble, and Festus was like eliminating everyone, and we were cheering for Festus.
Yeah, I think he eliminated the Undertaker as well too, and it was like Festus came down to like probably like the final 5 or final 4 left in the game, and I'm like, are you serious? Like this man is gonna get himself a WWE Championship match. Oh man, I think he probably eliminated Andre the Giant.
Yeah, I think he did.
We pushed Festus better than WWE ever pushed Luke Gallows, especially since they just fired them.
Yeah,
Did you hear about that?
Yeah, I heard about all the firings. Isla Dawn, Sonya Deville, which was in an active storyline.
Authors of Pain, dude, those guys came back just to get fired again. Just like Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson. Those guys deserve better than that.
And AJ Styles just returned. They should just brought him back at AJ Styles, but
well, AJ's a lone wolf now, I guess. He's doing his own thing. No, I mean that's why they took the Good Brothers away from AJ and put them on NXT, only for them to just do nothing in NXT as well too. I don't think WWE ever really knew how to write, Gallows and Anderson. Like those guys should just go back to New Japan and stay in Japan. Never go back to to North American states to wrestle again. To be in a company.
No, they're probably gonna go to AEW. Probably Blair Davenport's gonna go there too.
There's no one really to go to team up with in AEW. I mean, they could.
There's Kenny Omega. There's the Bucks.
Yeah, but I don't really know if there's anything for them within AEW. What I hate it? No, just because of the history that they have with like the Young Bucks, Omega. But I don't know if they really have a place, availability for them right now.
All right, 2011. 2011 is the first game that introduced Universe Mode, which we still have.
Are you sure? Because I thought 2010 had Universe Mode.
No, I think 2010 didn't have it yet. It got introduced in 2011 because 2011 had the marquee at the bottom of the screen that told you what was going on in your Universe Mode.
But it doesn't mean that was the first. Game to have that mode.
From my memory, 2011 I think was the first one I had. I think.
See, I disagree, but I've got to look it up right now because I really want to confirm this.
All right.
Just because I remember that. Yeah, SmackDown versus Raw 2010 had Universe Mode.
Oh, we got to highlight that. Do you think it got any better in 2011?
Oh wait, no. Hang on. No, I guess you're right. It was 2011.
Yeah.
I apologize. That like I just remember when I got 2010 from like buying it from like Walmart. I think I looked on the back of the box, and there was like so many different like types of stuff that they were promoting on there. New Royal Rumble, new creative story, new creative finisher, and I think the creative finisher was with diving attacks. So there was a lot of stuff on that one there. So
I
I
would
thought
ca-
Universe Mode would have been there.
I would also put 2011 in mid.
Oh, what? No. That's 7-star.
You well, no. Do you know what? No, wait. You're actually kind of right because 2011 kind of was a step up from 2010 because of universe
Huge,
mode.
huge step above. Universe mode added a different type of element to the game, which definitely needed. But also for the weapon physics that you had in those games, there, like how if you German suplex someone into a ladder, the ladder breaks, and the wrestlers actually sell it. You get slammed on a steel chair, and the wrestlers don't just go, "Oh, my back." They go, "Oh," writhing around in pain. They're selling the hell out of the weapon physics. Those are the weapon physics that we don't have in wrestling games today, that are sorely lacking, that really need to be brought back. And the Road to WrestleMania that I still play a lot with Chris Jericho. That was fun there. Defeat the Streak, or the Undertaker's Road to WrestleMania, Rey Mysterio's Road to WrestleMania, where you could actually make Rey Mysterio turn heel for the first time in WWE. Freaking John Cena's Road to WrestleMania, with MVP, and where Randy Orton becomes the general manager, stuff like that. And then also, who was the last one? Christian's Road to WrestleMania. I mean, that it's a good game when I can remember all people's Road to WrestleManias.
Mm-hmm.
And shoot, we didn't talk about how in 2010 they brought in the Inferno match.
Oh yeah, the
That
Inferno
was it was
match.
either 2010 or 2009.
No, that was 2010. No, that was 2010 and 11, I think.
Yeah,
Because I remember being in both games, and holy crap, that match was so exciting because like
that
if you
was
threw someone out, they actually no because I remember I don't remember if it was also in 12, but I remember one year in the game, I think in the game where it came back in, like if you threw them out of the ring, they actually had animation of them on fire.
yeah.
But then in the game, in the game after that, they took away that they had the animation was still there, but they weren't on fire.
Yeah, I think WWE2K14 was the game that where the Inferno match was still there, but I think that they were no longer on fire anymore. Maybe they felt that was just too extreme for kids or something like that, and that was just like, oh man, don't be sissing like that. We know the kids see much worse. um, but also, I think 2011, that was the game where we had all sides of the creative finisher. You had the regular standing, you had the corner, and you had the diving finishers there. So they beefed up SmackDown. They beefed up the creative finisher as well too there. Um, and some of the music that was in the background as well too. Drew McIntyre's "Broken Dreams." That was me and my sisters to always hear playing in the background there. But yeah, the background music as well too. It's just like something special about it. It's like you could choose to skip it, but I think a lot of them had bangers. I
In
mean,
2011,
pretty much all of the SmackDown versus Raw series always had bangers.
soundtracks.
Yeah. I mean, I work out to some of those soundtracks. I found as many as I could to put on my workout playlist.
All
So,
right,
yeah.
now to move on to the post SmackDown versus Raw era, WWE 12. Now, here's the thing, right? Let me say this: WWE 12. First of all, the menu music
I knew you were
bored me
gonna
to
do that
hell.
first. You ignore everything else and you just go to the menu music.
The menu music was bored me to hell. The the Creator that's WWE12 is the first game that I know that brought in Creator Arena. But you got but you before you start criticizing Creator Arena 2012, you gotta remember that's the first game it was ever in. So it's gonna be like the most crappiest version of it
See,
because
that's for you to criticize Create Arena. I don't touch Create Arena, so it doesn't really bother me at all. I mean, I've never really had any good Create Arenas, to my knowledge, that I've ever been really truly proud of. Um, you
because
know,
in
I've made some modifications to arenas that I download from people, but very little. To me, it's not something I do too much of.
well because into it what for this is for everyone watching whoever's watching um Creator Arena in 2012 at that time, the only thing that you could edit was the actual ring and like the barricades and the ring mat and the announce table, and that was it. Like you couldn't touch the stage yet. We weren't at that stage yet in 2012. That didn't happen until 13.
We weren't at the stage yet.
No, in WWE 13, that's when you were able to change the stage and make it whatever you wanted to make it. That's when that got introduced.
You didn't realize the pun, did you?
No, I didn't.
We weren't at that stage. At the stage, you said it. How did you not? How did you not notice it? So for me, W12, I would say I would give it. I have to go with an oh hell yeah for me. I don't know if I can put it a 7-star, but definitely what really I remember most about with W12 is I think no the draft was in 2011 as well too, but I remember the amount of roster members that were in W12. I mean, you practically had all of the members from you know Nexus and New Nexus. I don't know if the core was in that one yet or not, if that was 13, but I mean they're the same thing anyways, pretty much.
Yeah.
But it was the first game that we had CM Punk with Cult of Personality. He still kind of had his old entrance from SVR 2011, but the fact that they updated his Titantron, his music as quickly as possible, that was really cool because I remember as a kid I didn't know if I was going to get that detail in there. And the thing that really I remember the most about as well is how the road to WrestleManias. I told Steven this a couple of days ago, is how everything all blended together with the road to WrestleMania. You start with Sheamus. You go to the middle with Triple H, and then you finish with your created wrestler, Jacob Cass, they call them there, who was voiced by Austin Aries. That which was pretty cool to learn that one there. But it wasn't just one road to WrestleMania. Okay, now choose this person. They all blended together like a movie. So it was very unique how they did that. But the most important thing that I remember about W12, it was the first time that I ever actually finished a creative story. I got very far in SmackDown versus Raw 2010 with my original story about making the world's greatest tag team tournament, and I literally was doing like a point system on a clipboard of mine, but I got close to finishing it, but I don't think I ever did. But W12, I remember how I was being able to create so many different stories of see like literally Punk became the general manager of Raw because Vince McMahon was like we need change and Punk's here to bring change to bring excitement and everything. Obviously that would never happen, but it was a unique idea where Punk was champion, but a fighting champion, and he wasn't like heel CM Punk, like let me rig the system for myself. No, it was literally about giving opportunities out there, all that stuff. And I just remember how I was working the storyline with like Undertaker and Triple H, how I put that in there as well too. to get to WrestleMania. So it was just a lot of fun knowing that where that's really where my creative genius kind of came from of how to fantasy book things, and where I could take things a lot was finishing that storyline. It was the beginning of good things to come for me personally.
All right. So, WWE 13. So, WWE 13. I remember the biggest selling point for that game was, and I think this is where this whole thing started. Is the biggest selling point of WWE 13 was not only was it the Attitude Era mode that everyone was like clamoring over,
Oh,
but the
we got attitude. You got nothing, man.
but I remember like the thing that they were pushing. It's like this is gonna be the biggest roster you ever seen, and then I think that's where that whole biggest roster you ever seen tagline came from that they keep using to this day still.
Probably, because they went through all the Attitude Era with like all of the Stone Colds, all the variations of Mick Foley. There was a lot of variations of Hulk Hogan. I'm sure so many Rocks.
Hulk Hogan
Because I
wasn't
don't
in
think
the
they,
game.
huh?
Hulk Hogan's not even in the game because he was in WCW during the Attitude Era.
Oh right, I'm thinking 2K14 with the 30 years of WrestleMania. My bad.
No, I mean, like they even put Val Venus in there. Like
Well,
they
hell
put Val
yeah.
Venus in the game. Like,
Fucking hell. No, why not Val Venus?
I mean, like I thought. I mean, I don't even know if even at the time he was on good terms with the company, but they put him in there because attitude.
Because hello, ladies.
But where do you
Top
rank it
off.
though?
Um, mm,
I would put it as oh hell yeah, because it's better than mid. But it's not
uh,
7-star to me. It's
yeah, I'll go with you on that. I don't really have as many fond memories of W13. Nothing really sticks out like fun memories that I got to create in that game there. I remember that was the debut game for AJ Lee and Ryback. I remember I played the hell out of Ryback. Ryback was one of my favorite guys to watch in WWE. I don't know
mhm.
why, but I loved him. Um, but I don't know. I just don't think I really remember too much about W13 really. I mean, I probably went back and just watched the hell out of freaking the promo between Triple H, Shawn Michaels, and Vince McMahon when they were talking about we are degenerates and things like that, and how Shawn Michaels was like playing with Vince McMahon's ear or whatever. That was stupid. I don't even know if you remember that.
Was that in the Attitude Era mode?
Yeah,
Was that a real thing that happened in real life that they put in
it
the game?
was. Yeah,
I think I remember that.
cut that out.
Oh yeah, the oh god, yeah. No, when they were pretending to be Vincent Shane.
No, that was not Attitude Era. That was 2006-7 era of Degeneration X.
That's my favorite. I'm gonna get a lot of criticism, but that was my favorite. That was my favorite era of D Generation X.
It
They were
was
so good.
it sticks out more because of the fact that they were it was more the goofy entertaining type of stuff. That I love Cox. Vince McMahon and Hornswoggle stuff. I mean, when they introduced Hornswoggle, it kind of went a little bit downhill, but it was still kind of funny because it still worked for me. But then again, I was a kid still, so that type of shit kind of was like entertaining to me. I never really remembered much of like the Attitude Era version of D Generation X except for that speech. We will only use the words ass, damn, hell, and bitch. We will never, however, use the words shit, fuck, god damn it, Jesus Christ, the F word, faggot, and, and dicks. Oh shit. Whoa, watch your fucking mouth. Oh fuck me. God damn it. Fuck. Have you ever? You have had to see that, haven't you?
No, I did. No, I saw the censored and the uncensored version of that promo.
The uncensored is that's so great.
No, you know why they did that, right?
Yeah, I think the network was trying to censor D-Generation X. They were like being too much, and they're like, nah, fuck you, I guess.
No. What happened was is that they got a letter from USA Network saying we don't want them doing this anymore, and so Vince gave him the letter and told him to read the letter on air, and the USA Network loved it.
I literally can't believe that Vince McMahon had the balls to actually stand up to the network and actually say, yeah, you know what, go ahead and do it, do this.
Now, before we get into the 2K
Shit.
stuff,
Man,
we
Vince.
better rank All Stars before we start talking about 2K.
I can't really comment on All Stars. I have never once played All Stars in my life. I played All Stars at Best Buy.
Well,
And
you
that's
played at my house.
I watched it at your house. I don't think I played the game.
Well, for me, I really like it. I like it because of how goofy it is. So if this is a list that we're both sharing here, I'm gonna put it in the oh hell yeah because I think it's it's goofy and over the top, and I like that. So I think it's an
I
oh
mean,
hell yeah ranking.
I think fans would agree with that.
All right, now we're not gonna do battlegrounds yet because that's a 2K game. But now we're in the 2K era. So now we're at
Not really.
2K14. What do you mean not really? We're start. What do you mean?
2K14 may have been under the 2K name, but it was not. 2K had nothing to do with that.
Well, yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot. It was a THQ. It was a THQ game with the
Yeah.
2K14 name on it. Yeah.
Yeah, they just slap themselves on there and say, "Hey, how you doing, Shen? How's it going? I'm coming to slide in your DMs."
I would put 2K14 as a 7-star because that was THQ's last stand and they made like the best
Hey,
foot out the door ever.
definitely, yeah. I remember playing a lot of time of defending the streak, defeat the streak. I remember doing a lot with universe mode as well. That was still fun, and I remember create a storyline. Again, didn't do anything really with create a storyline in 13 that sticks out to me, but literally, me and my cousin spent hours on end, making create a storyline where literally I I literally was trying to unalive my cousin in his story. Literally, I turned heel. I joined. There was the debut of the Shield, which was amazing. Because I was a real big Shield fanatic, where I was like, I'm gonna be the fourth member of the Shield, and we terrorized a lot of people in that um, in the story there. It was a lot of fun. It was the last game to have create a story, and it allowed you as well to have like wrestlers in civilian attires as well. So that helped out, with like story mode options in those scenes. You had I think you had both versions of Punk that you could use, like regular Punk and bald CM Punk. If I don't know if Punk was bald at that point there.
No, I think it was in 2K14 where there was like
There was
so
like
many there were so many different variations of punk attires you could put on your custom superstars. Like he had different variations of his trunks in the game.
yeah, but yeah, that was that I think it's just the last part of create a storyline, which Steven knows is my biggest thing that I really want to see back in wrestling video games, because they really bring out the very best of people's creativity and a lot of ability to have you replayability to stream more, which you want that from your video games out there. And it was a lot of fun to just I remember the memories of me just me and my cousin texting back and forth about what to do, and I would be over there at his house working on the story with him, and we were just brainstorming together. It was just it's kind of like the stuff that I remember from like WWF No Mercy and the other games back in the day as a kid, just playing around with my family. And that was so much fun. And just being able to brainstorm with my cousin was just like some of the best memories that I have really of that video game, is just some of the stuff that you can create and have fun with, that I remember making it with him. So that it just, that's a big thing for me.
Now, if it doesn't come back in 2K25, 2K26 is going to happen for sure because they did a lot of improvements in 2K25. And 2K26, they got to step up even more.
Yeah, I believe when I see it.
Anyway, listen, before you say anything, for everyone who is watching out there who has ever played 2K15, the best version of 2K15 is the Xbox 360 and the PS3 version. Skip the PS4 version at all costs, because the PS4 version, the Xbox Series X, whatever it's called, like, those versions are like the most dumbed down, stripped versions of these games that you will ever see. Like Korea Superstar is like the most, like, it looks good. I'll give it that, but I mean, like, other than it looking good, it's like super stripped down. Even like there's I think they even took out Korea Arena. Korea Superstar is like hardly has anything in it. I know that Luke really loves this game because Corey Graves in it, and Paige is in it, and the Shield's in it, and AJ's in it.
Punk's in it.
Yeah, like all those guys. Yeah, CM Punk's last game before he came back is in it. But I mean, like, the roster's pretty solid, but the game itself, like, but everything else, every single mode in the game lacks on the next gen. Like, so if you're gonna get 2K15, if you're gonna go buy it these days, which why would you when 2K25 is coming out? Like, if you're gonna buy it and you want to buy it, go for the Xbox 360 PS3 version. You will not be disappointed because it's basically 2K14 but set with 2K15. So that's why it belongs in the American Nightmare section for me.
For my personal take, my personal opinion, I will agree to put it at a mid, because I remember spending a lot of time playing that game because I felt that at the time that was one of the most realistic games possible, with the stamina system that did work out very well, that allowed people to really feel like they were playing a real life wrestling match. Johnson hits his AA and you're out of stamina. Well, time to crawl over and then put your arm over someone's chest right there. That was the first game really that ever really introduced that one there, which really brought a realism to the game. The graphics were amazing in that game as well, which was a big thing that made me want to buy that game and buy the PlayStation 4 for it. And Universe mode still was kind of fun. I think it's a little bit dried out, but what really helped me out was knowing about how creative I was with 2K14. I decided to get very creative as well in 2K15. This is where I improved on the universe mode inside my own brain, because I would literally make Dean Ambrose be the biggest dick that you will find. He was beating up on women. Yes, beating up women. He was beating up. He was feuding with. It feels weird to call him Daniel Bryan. He was beating up Daniel. He was in a feud with Daniel Bryan, and I remember that I had Dean Ambrose take out a baseball bat. Wasn't beating up women, but he beat up He beat up Brie Bella, and this was during the time when Danielson and Brie were trying to have a kid, and I was like, in my mind, the commentator was like, "What is wrong with Dean Ambrose? We don't even know if We know that Daniel and Brie are trying to start a family. What if she's pregnant, for crying out loud?" And then in my head, I'm like, well, what would the interviewer say, to the Shield? It's like, can you guys condone this? Like, no, we can't condone what this motherfucker's doing at all right now. He's crazy. They like, they didn't even approve of what Dean Ambrose was doing. Ambrose became the longest reigning United States champion, beating up William Regal, feuding with Rob Van Dam. I just, and the fact that yes, Corey Graves was in there, and Graves is one of my favorites to watch and to create stuff with, and it was just a lot of fun.
Create stuff with.
Yeah.
With the tags.
Create memories with. He's always in every single one of my created wrestlers, in the slots there. And I just remember that, I put me and Corey together in a tag team, and then I remember that we started to feud as well too. So it was just, there's a lot of memories that I was able to create with 2K15, but I will definitely say that it definitely lacked when you could not even create your own female wrestler. I mean, you could, but you were taking it from the women's actual face and then just slapping your name on it. And it's like, I didn't even realize how important that was until like my sister wanted to create a wrestler, and she's like, "Wait, how am I supposed to choose?"
Wait, didn't they take out create a female? Didn't they take female out create a superstar in the next gen version of 2K15?
Yeah, no, you could still create a female wrestler, but you just weren't able to actually create a female wrestler. You had to choose, like, I'm AJ Lee, but I'm not AJ Lee. Like,
so you had to take someone already on the roster and just change up their outfit.
Change up the outfit, change up the name. I don't even know if you could change up the outfit. And I realized at that point, how disgusting it was, because I don't, I'll be honest, for me, it wasn't as important in the day to really create female wrestlers. The only wrestler that I really ever created and create a section a lot of times in the game was myself. That's really all who I mattered about. Now I've expanded my creativity. You should see my roster of 2K19 of what I've got going on. But for me, back in the past, it wasn't important to have female wrestlers because I was an idiot. I didn't really play as female wrestlers a lot during the time because I was under the category of those guys. It's like, oh, it's women's wrestling. It wasn't as important. I shouldn't say that. It wasn't as in your face. No,
it wasn't as good as you thought it was.
It wasn't needed as much, and I hate to say that. I don't know if that's the right terminology to use, but as you evolve, like the women's evolution did, you started to realize just how important that women's wrestling actually is as well, and what these women are capable of. And then you actually start to watch more. And so back then, the old me didn't really, care too much about women's wrestling. But let's be honest, WWE didn't give us much of a reason to care about women's wrestling too much during that time. You get 2 3-minute matches during that time of WWE. AJ Lee, I think, was really the one who was a big part of helping change things up. Natalia as well too. I think there are a lot of divas that you got to make sure and give credit to. A lot of women out there who were in the Divas era to give credit to. And also I gotta give credit to Nikki Bell as well too. Like, she stepped up her game as well. She didn't just stay one-sided of how she was. She actually improved upon her wrestling as well too. So I feel like I'll catch some flack for what I said about the women's wrestling a little bit.
But I still think it belongs on American Nightmare just because of that cross between the next gen and the last gen. Because they're like 2 different games. It's like crazy how different it is, like between the 2 versions.
I never got to play the last version, but I remember when you told me that, I was like, holy shit, I can't believe that that it's the same roster, but the same modes pretty much of 2K14. I remember asking if Create a Story is in there, and I think you said yes, but at the same time,
I
I'm
mean,
not
look it
sure if it
up.
is there. But huh?
I mean, you can even look it up. Just look up a screenshot
I'm not looking
of
at.
the 2K15 last gen main menu, and you'll see. You know.
No.
Anyway, 2K16. I like this game because Mikey Weprek finally got on the roster, but
That does not make it a 7-star.
I'm not saying that I'm making it a 7-star because of that. I think it was good because it was a step up from 15 because they got their crap right by this time, because in 2K16 they figured out what they did bad in 2K15, and in 2K16 they fixed all the wrongs. So I would call it oh hell yeah because they figured out they screwed up. But I mean, but like I would put. I mean, in my opinion, I would make it oh hell yeah because they stepped up from 2K15, which 2K15 was garbage on the PS4 at the time. So I mean,
This camera is like
we
weird thing here.
what?
It's just like when I'm doing like this here, like the camera likes to move around or something like that on the face.
So
Whoa, dude. Yo, I think I'm gonna put 2K16. I think I'd put it at, I don't know, dude, maybe mid.
yeah, I would say mid.
I
would say mid.
I don't have like bad thoughts about the game. I wish I could replay it to, to be able to, but I can't even get it on the PlayStation Store. I can't find it. I can't play it. I have it saved in my data, but it doesn't even tell me like you don't have this on physical copy. On my PlayStation, it won't let me play it at all.
My fondest memory 2K16 is when around the time when it came out, I went over to your apartment when you were still living in the apartment, and we were playing it, and we were just playing it, and we played a Royal Rumble, and it was like crazy. we bought crazy bread from Little Caesars and everything. It was a crazy time.
Yeah, the only thing I really remember about 16 was Arnold Schwarzenegger and Stone Cold Steve Austin. You can't get enough Stone Cold. There was so many Stone Colds and all that jazz. I will say I really loved the 2K16 commercial for Arnold Schwarzenegger that they had, where Dean Ambrose, I saw him smoke a cigar for the first time, and he looked like a total badass. That was like the first introduction that I really had to how cool Dean Ambrose could be, outside of the Shield. You look like John Moxley.
but pretty much 2K16 was pretty much like the beginning of what we currently have today. But
yeah,
I
would agree. It was definitely the start of what we have in the coming games.
I remember Dave & Buster's was like really big into like promoting that game, because I remember Dave & Buster's was like doing like contests, being like, come to Dave & Buster's to win a copy of 2K16. I was like, what?
Wow.
Like, why is Dave & Buster's so involved now?
Because of me, Arnold Schwarzenegger. You had to buy me to play me.
2K17, 2K17 to me was pretty much 2K16, but except they changed the story, and I think everything else was the same, wasn't it?
It's pretty much the same. I would put that in the oh hell yeah category.
But would you leave six?
The wrestling, the chain wrestling was there, and the mid reversals, became a thing in this game here, and you could still. What I really loved about like the old My Rise, type of games modes, the older versions, you were able to like import your own like WWE wrestler. So if I wanted to put Seth Rollins and make him Tyler Black, I could put him in there and make him go through his own rise in, like wrestling. It's almost like a road to WrestleMania in its own way there, or its own season mode.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I really liked about it. Um, but yeah, it was definitely a step above like 16, which is why I put in the oh hell yeah category. Um, and yeah,
I mean, isn't my rise? Can you technically call it Road to WrestleMania because it ends at WrestleMania after you go into the Hall of Fame and WrestleMania? So I mean,
I would. No, I wouldn't call it Road to WrestleMania, given the fact that you're only playing as your created wrestler. Now, I know that in other Road to WrestleManias, you had the ability to play as created wrestlers, but you had the ability to play as other wrestlers as well. So it's not really a Road to WrestleMania, because if you call it Road to WrestleMania, you'll have people that will be expecting other wrestlers. You'll have people wanting to play as Seth Rollins, CM Punk, and etc.
all right then. 2K18. If I can remember much. 2K18. If I from what I don't even remember much about 2K18.
See, I feel like that 18 has just got to be put into the. Maybe to be fair, maybe I have to put 18 in the. See, I want to put in the oh hell yeah, but pretty much I feel like 18 is just the same as 17. Um,
Yeah.
I really don't think that there was much, so maybe that should be why it gets a downgrade for being the same. Not that there's anything wrong with it.
In mid or American Nightmare.
Oh, come on. What are you talking about? Jesus Christ. American Nightmare. Dude, hell no.
Yeah, put it in mid. Um, well, I mean, it's basically the same as it's basically the same as 17.
Yeah. Which is why I'm like, I could put it in oh hell yeah, but I could understand if people were like, in the past were like, if it's basically the same, does it make it worse because we didn't really get anything new? We just got new rosters. We just got a new roster. Which
So
again, it's not.
that's why I put it in mid because it's nothing changed really.
Yeah, I agree. Again, that's not saying it's a bad game. I'm just saying that didn't really deliver anything much new.
All right, now I know what you're gonna say about this game, but I'm gonna say what I want to say first. 2K19. I'm gonna put it in the 7-star because um it's 2K19 is well what am I trying to say? 2K19, right? The roster in that game is now to me the second best roster these games have ever had so far. 2K24 is number one because 2K19 literally had all my favorites on it: Mr. Perfect, Roderick Strong, Johnny Gargano, the Free Faces of Foley. I think Tegan Knox was on that roster too. I think before I even was a big fan of hers. I think Kyrie's even on that roster before I was a big
Tegan
fan of hers.
Tegan is not. Dakota Kai is though. Kyrie Sane is on that roster. Yes.
I mean, but that's before I was big fans of them. That's before I even liked them that much. But that roster was insane. But the one thing I also hate is that the menus are all white. So if you're playing it in the dark, good luck with your vision being okay by the time in the morning.
Vision is pretty fun.
Yeah, but it's like it's like blaring. It's just really white, and it's like not really nice for the eyes.
No, there's no defending that. Yeah, there's no defending how the menu is, especially like when I am playing universe mode. Like, I have to verify that I'm like, okay, where am I at? Okay, I'm at superstar section. Okay, I can go over to get to the action, so I can go to edit the show, so that way I don't accidentally press start the show on my universe mode. So it's like it's an annoying feature. No matter how dim I
Uh,
turn down my TV a little bit, I still have to do that.
No, I know that 2K19 introduced the 2K Towers, which that was the only game it was in because then they moved it to My Faction. No, I mean, well, I don't know if it's the same thing in My Faction with the towers, but I know the towers were in 2K19 and they're promoting that thing as a big deal, and not a lot of people liked it. But I think they moved it into My Faction. I think I'm not sure, but
Yeah, the towers to me, it's basically once you touch it, you never really have to touch it again. It's almost like showcase mode. Like once you complete it, you really never go back to it. You know, it's just there. It's not really something that you really play for a second time. I play it sometimes if I'm just bored. You know, playing. Uh, just a regular one-on-one match. I'm like, okay, let's mix things up. I'm like, oh, right, I can't. My created wrestlers can't go over an overall of 85 in here. They limit you on the freaking towers there, and I'm like, what the fuck is this shut mine?
but like, but also, I mean, if we're taking out, I mean, besides 2K Towers, it's pretty much the same. It's pretty much 2K17, 2K18, but except but it's basically the same as 17, 18, but except they add the towers in there, and the roster is insane.
See, the roster plays a big part of it as well too, but I do think that the action definitely got a lot quicker in the game, and this version of My Rise was no longer about, oh, I gotta work my way up from NXT to the main roster or things like that. No, it was actually a story. It was the setup to what we have now in the 2K games of the My Rise. It is a story mode that you are playing. It is not, okay, I'm rising my wrestler from here, going all the way to the top of, start uh, from the developmental and going all the way to WrestleMania. No, it's a story there. So, and I did like the story there. Um, the roster definitely plays a big part, because like they're like no, I don't think we ever thought that Chris Jericho was going to get his long hair. I think a lot of people thought because when we saw Jericho with his long hair, that was when he was in New Japan Pro Wrestling, wrestling Kenny Omega. So I think we all thought we were going to get Chris Jericho of like, short hair, that type of Jericho there. So I think that a lot of people were a good shock there because I remember how it made it easier to get the more up to date current Chris Jericho with the long hair there for like Alpha Chris Jericho from AEW um, on that. So that made it a lot of fun there. There's just a lot of um, wrestler. Well, I won't talk about that.
What? What do you mean a lot?
I was just gonna say that there's a lot of wrestlers that I realized that are in WWE 2K19. When I was trying to create like my AEW roster for WWE 2K24, I realized just how many AEW wrestlers are actually in 2K19 that I did not need to download, that I never needed to download. Whereas in 2K24, I had to download them. You had Adam Cole, Roderick Strong, Kyle O'Reilly, Bobby Fish. You had Chris Jericho. You had Christian Cage. You had Bryan Danielson. You had Aleister Black in that game. There, you didn't need to download it. I mean, you would have had to download Aleister in there. There was just a lot of characters that were already in the game of 2K 19, to where I was like, damn, I never realized just like how like because that's where I realized a lot because I've told you this how 2K need to improve like their larger custom size amount that you're allowed.
Hmm.
And I wondered to myself, I was like, why do I not have this problem on 2K19? And then I realized that it's because I had all these characters that were in 19 that were already there. I didn't need a face scan of Chris Jericho. He's right there. I don't need to get his tattoos. They're already on him. I don't need to get, all this stuff that comes with the baggage of downloading these wrestlers, which eats up space right there. 2K19, you had all of that already there. You didn't need to, to download those images because they're already there for you. So that's when I realized just, how much of a gemstone that 2K19 is to have, because especially for what I do on my channel, how it helps a lot to have those wrestlers right there and not take up the space. I want to give 2K their praise here because of how great the creation suite is. That, like I just told Steven here, is that about that the custom logo size amount needs to be larger, because of the fact that you have face scans, you have the images for tattoos and things like that you can put on people, you have the images you can now put on crowd signs, you have the face, you have the renders that you can upload there, but this all takes up space. This all takes up lots of slots that are on your custom logo slots. 1,000 logos sounds like a lot, and it is, but we have had that for a long time with 1,000 logos. I think that was at the beginning of 2K18 or 19, and that's not good enough. You need more. As you improve and do more, you also need to give more.
Yeah, I think. What do you think it should go to? Like 2,000? You think? Is that too generous?
Um, I would say to start with 2,000 could be good, and if you need more, maybe put in a patch. We're living in the era right now where patches are a thing. Use those patches to add more, not just to fix bugs. Add in more, and I think they do add in some stuff to this day. I think they do add like new content, and I'm not just talking about my faction stuff.
Yeah, but you're talking about but you talk about patches. But didn't you say that 2K19 only has like 4 patches, and like the current games had like over 20?
Oh no, I don't think 2K19 has like 4 patches. Maybe about 7 or 8. I mean, if you want me to check, I can go check right now.
No, I mean no, it's fine. But you said that basically has like less patches than the current game does, right?
Oh yeah, they do.
But then you're talking about patches and patching things in. What do
No,
you think
but
they're
but
doing?
no, but patches can be a good thing. But the problem is, to me, is if you have like 17 different patches and it's not putting in new stuff, it's fixing stuff. That shows me that your game is kind of broken, and it's good to fix it. But why was it like that to begin with? I don't think that a game should need like 20 fucking patches. And like, we got like, I don't know, back to back patches within like 2 weeks or something like that. And that eats up space. Every time you have to put in a patch, you have to update, and you have to eat up more space on your console. It's not a lot, but when you have to keep patching in everything, it's kind of annoying.
I don't want to know how many patches Call of Duty gets every year. I don't want to know. That's probably worse than a wrestling game.
We don't even play Call of Duty, so
Yeah, I know. I don't play it either, but I'm saying I don't want to even imagine how many patches that game gets per year. Anyway, 2K20. That's GTS for sure because basically 2K20 was basically everything 2K19 was, but except they just let go of the shit.
yeah, I mean, I'd have to agree. Um, I will say this: I did enjoy a little bit of like the type of like different.
Arenas.
No, not just the arenas, but like the different type of stuff you could create. You were put into like the Wyatt, the Finn Balor storyline. You got the Fiend in that game there.
The 2K
With
Originals, which was supposed to be the showcase replacement that everyone hated.
Yeah, I kind of enjoyed it. It was different, but it did kind of suck, given the fact that there was no like like voiceover to me is cool, but not needed because I came from the era of SmackDown. Here Comes the Pain. We had great storyline with no voiceover. You didn't even have commentary lines in SmackDown. Here Comes the Pain. The weirdest thing in SmackDown, Shut Your Mouth, you had commentary lines from like commentators, but Here Comes the Pain, nada. You got nothing. It was completely weird how they downgraded that. But to get back on point, um, I never liked I didn't like how they were just doing like, oh, here's me, the Bray Wyatt talking, and now here's me doing this. And, it was just different renders of the character selection that you can give you, like custom characters. And they talk with a speech, with like text. And I was like, wait a minute, what is this? I was like, this is so lazy. I was like, I like the cutscenes a little bit. That's fun, but why am I not getting, at least a cut scene of these characters talking to each other? I don't need the voiceover, but at least have a cut scene of them just try. But it didn't even try. I skipped every time the New Day were coming up and be like, man, was that Bray Wyatt spooky or what? Or something that they were talking about.
I think what really killed the game, though, was COVID, though. COVID really killed 2K20 because I think they were. I think
COVID wasn't there yet.
Yeah, but I think COVID. Yeah, but weren't they working on it?
No. You want to know what went wrong?
What?
Ukes left. Ukes left, and they took all of their stuff with them. They took all of their programming, all that stuff. So 2K was having to work from scratch with what they had. The whole relationship that Ukes and 2K had was gone. And so this was 2K's first time at really trying it on their own. They would, kind of splice in some things with Ukes here and there, but for the most part, it was still Ukes' product with the 2K series. 2K20 was the first time that, Jesus, what the hell was going on with my camera here? 2K20 was really the first time that they really tried it on their own. Just playing around with this thing here. I just like...
No, do the Joe Hendry thing with your camera. No, do the Joe Hendry thing with the camera.
Oh, I think I'd have to stand up for that.
No. You can do it. Just turn your whole body around while you're sitting, and then turn to the camera. No. I wanted to see if the camera would zoom in.
Maybe I have to put my whole face in there.
I love it, man.
Anyone who watches this video right now is like, wait, I thought I was watching a tier list. What the fuck are these retards doing? Can't say that word. Well, I'm retarded technically, so I can.
Anyway. So obviously there was a 2K21 because COVID, so 2K22.
No, I don't even think it was COVID. I think it was also just the fact that I think 2K was taking extra time because there was a lot of people complaining. Where's 2K21? Where does it go? Where is it? And even WWE were getting pissed off as well too at 2K because it was taking so long. They gave them an extra year to get the game right. So that's why it's 2K22 and not 2K21 because they needed extra time to get their shit together. That's why I think we got Battlegrounds. Did we get
where you put Battlegrounds since we're at that point now?
American Nightmare. No, go to sleep.
Yeah, I mean it kind of reminds me of All Stars though.
It's All Stars, but it's chibi versions of freaking professional wrestlers. Really, that's something that you could put on a freaking app. But I didn't play the game. I had no interest in buying it because it wasn't, like the actual part of the 2K thing. And All Stars to me, like, I never really got to play it. Don't know if I was really ever interested in it, so I skipped Battlegrounds. I was like, you guys can have fun doing your little thing. I'm just gonna wait around for the actual 2K game and not this here. This is just to please you all for a moment. Like, okay, you get a game. Now stop yelling at us, let us work.
I have Battlegrounds. I hardly touched it, but I have it.
Okay, so tell me the truth. Which one would you say that you probably played more, All Stars or Battlegrounds?
All Stars, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
I think out of the two games, basically what they did in Battlegrounds is that they basically took like most of the concepts from All Stars and put it in Battlegrounds, but in Battlegrounds they tried to add on top of it, but it wasn't really that good. I think
Yeah.
All Stars is like the perfect comedy wrestling game out of the two. Like if out of the two,
Honestly,
All Stars is the best one.
I never see people really talk much about Battlegrounds, really. So I mean, could it be in American Nightmare category? Maybe, but for me, I don't know if that would interest me.
No, it's I consider GTS too because I hear people talk about All Stars more, and I like All Stars better than Battlegrounds anyway. So after that, obviously we got the next installation into the series 2K22. I feel like 2K22 is better, obviously, than 2K20. They they um they they finally got their feet set into the series and they know what the heck they were actually doing. But it wasn't as good as like 2K23 or 2K24 because 2K23 and 2K24 is a huge step up. So I mean, 2K22 is like the new beginning in my in like my eyes. So I mean, I would call it mid because I would put mid because it was like the new beginning after COVID. Like they were getting their feet in again with releases because they were pushing because they pushed the release to March instead of October. So they have more time to make these games even better now. So they don't have to shoot for October anymore. So.
Yep.
Do you agree with that one?
Yep.
Do you have anything to say about 2K22?
Nope.
All right then. 2K23. 2K23 is better than 2K22, that's for sure. I like it because that's when things were like getting good. I mean, everything was still pretty much the same from 2K22, but except it was in 2K23 with a roster change. But I mean, like, it's still mid. It's still mid because it's better, but it's not super better than 2K22. You know, it's just basically a roster change.
Yep.
Basically. And you have nothing to say about it?
Nope.
In 2K24, 7-star, and if 2K25 was on this list, that'd be 7-star too, because 2K24 is finally where they got their crap right. Because the roster is the 2K24 roster is first place. The 2K19 roster for me is second place, and 2K24 finally got their crap right, and they brought back guest referee, freaking the casket match, the ambulance match, the gauntlet match, the war games match came back to 2K23, but no 2K22, no 2K23, yeah, I think.
Yeah, that was the debut of it.
Yeah, like 2K24 is, it's like what it's like. That's the game I'm probably gonna go back to because I'm starting universe mode in that game, and I'm probably gonna do that in 2K24 and 2K25 because of what they're doing in 2K25 with universe mode and all that. And since 2K25 is on this roster, on this tier listing that we're doing, 2K25 is just going to get better because they're adding in all this new stuff that's going to be amazing. Intergender wrestling is back. Freaking ladder finishers are back. Women bleeding is back.
That's the first.
Guest referee for pretty much a lot of matchups is back. or I don't know if that was even a thing when special guest referee was around the first time. If you could do it in multiple matches, but it's it now. It's better than ever. Um, we still have no news about Create Superstar, our Creator Arena, our video, or anything. Anything about the Creation Suite, we have no news on yet. But hopefully, there's been something that's been done, and they're just not telling us yet. My GM mode got better. My faction got better. 2K25 is just like 2K24. It's just the start of something better than before. I feel, and I feel like they're gonna bring in like Curry's story next year if it isn't in this year, because they have to. They have to at this point bring it back. They gotta bring it in next year if it's not in this year. They have to. If it is in, if it makes it in this year, and they haven't told us yet, but they made it in with Curry's story, how would you feel?
What?
In 2K25, right? We don't know anything about Creation Suite yet, but what if Curry's story made it back, and they just haven't told us yet? How would you feel?
Well, I think it would be a mistake for 2K to not announce one of the biggest things that people have been looking forward to for many of years. I mean, Create a Storyline was literally one of the best modes that has ever been brought into wrestling video games because it, again, created longevity to the video games, and it allowed people to have, custom freedom of telling great stories and fun stories, funny stories that provided laughs, provided entertainment. And if that was really something that was going to be in the game this year, and that they didn't tell people who want that mode back, ones like myself, I think that's just a stupid decision by 2K to not promote something that would really actually make people want to buy it even more. So I don't foresee it being in this game. I mean, I think I told you this before. They really should have come back last year with 2K24 with the slogan being "Finish the story" for create a story. Makes the most sense when you think about it that way. So it's not coming back this year. That would have been something they would have advertised. And the fact that, I mean, that they haven't, is really. I mean, is it possible? I guess it could be since we haven't found anything about Creation Suite at all. But honestly, if we don't get any news about Creation Suite at all within the coming weeks, you could pretty much expect that Creation Suite is just going to be the same as it has been for years on end. Again, I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying that what they have has become their norm.
But we sort of heard about it because when they announced jumping off the barricade, they said that in Creation Suite you can in the creative moveset you can set whatever dive move you want to jump out the barricade with. So you can frog splash off the barricade now if you want.
Well, there's more than just the body.
But that's all we know.
But you know what I mean. I think there's more than that because I think I saw Seth Rollins in a video do a blockbuster off the barricade. So clearly, it's not just the regular crossbody, like you would see all the time in the old even 2K19 video games. I mean, I know that you can do finishers off the pods in 2K19 as well too. I didn't even know that until recently. Doesn't always land, Ricochet's too advanced. He does his 630 senton and crashes outside of the chamber instead of in the ring.
Do you think they're going to bring back when's the last time you had the option to change the chambers from the new one to the old one? When's the last time you had that option?
Honestly, you play the games more than I do, so if you don't know, I don't know. I know that 2K19 you can still use the old classic chamber, which is the one I always use for my universe mode, and just in general if I'm playing a chamber.
I know in steel cage matches they have like the new cage, the old cage, and like the cage from Junkyard match from 2K19 with the
scrap match.
No, from 2K20 when they had that 2K Originals arena that was in that junkyard.
the scrap match where it was Cole Quinn against your character, Buzz.
I kind of miss the original, those original arenas though, because they were like different in different fun environments to have matches in.
Oh yeah, I mean, especially I think it was in 2K20 where you were actually able to brawl in like a freaking arcade room.
I don't remember that. I remember the junkyard. I remember with the cyber ship, the cyber frame or mainframe thing with the freaking screens all around it.
I swear it had. I swear it was 2K20 where you were able to brawl. Okay, maybe not an arcade room, but it was.
The pool.
Well, no, not just the pool, but like you could fight in the almost like a disco arena. They had like a dance club, an arcade. You fought the New Day there when you were playing as Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins.
Maybe I forget.
Man, disrespect the major players.
No, I mean there was also the swamp arena for the Wyatts.
Yeah, that was creepy, especially when you would hear like the background noises there.
There was also the empty arena, but it wasn't a regular empty arena. It was an empty arena with fog.
Yeah.
Which satisfied my empty arena needs, but I mean the fog wasn't necessary. I'm crossing my fingers, hoping that they actually listened to me this year and gave us an empty option in crowd options in Create Arena. But it's not in there. But crossing my fingers.
Yeah, the worst part is just like how, a lot of times you get, things like that in like the modded PC games that you're allowed to do that type of stuff with. Like
you don't have to mod it. You just go into the options and turn the crowd all the way 0.
Yeah, it's weird how you have that option on PCs, and yet they don't give that type of option in the actual console games. It's like, it really just a lot of times like that's just gonna. I feel like that makes people want to leave console games, and I don't know. Just because for me personally, I'm just like, man, it feels like there's more to do with console to do with PCs than actual console games. And I was like, one of these days I'm just gonna have to switch over to actual PC games more than playing on my consoles.
Well, maybe you should buy a gaming PC like I do, and then you can play the games on PC instead.
Yeah, that'll be one of these days.
I mean, the island mode that they're promoting for next year's game's not even going to be on PC. You can only play it if you have PS5 and Xbox Series, whatever.
Dude, that's gonna. I've heard it's gonna be online though. I think, which is so terrible. I mean, because 2K's online servers, are always the worst. I still hear to this day of like just how bad that they are.
Supposedly they're working with new people now. Like supposedly they fired the old team that was working on online, and they hired a new team to make it better.
I guess we'll have to wait and see.
Well, I mean, we should probably end this video though, because it's already an hour long, and we should probably end it. Then we can talk afterwards.
Yeah. For me personally, I guess where would I put 2K24? Mid.
Yeah, mid. I mean, I would say mid.
I don't talk with Steven about this because we just completely disagree about where 2K is headed with their direction. I mean, there's some promise for 2K25, but I am just not going to buy it because it just still does not interest me really enough to spend the money on it.
But we're gonna share. But we're gonna share play it at least. That's there.
Yeah, we're gonna share play it, and then I guess that'll be my introduction to be able to test it out without having to actually buy the game, so that way I can be like, let's see.
You know that Shield Rollins. Do you know Shield Rollins is on the base roster from 2022 when he had that match with Roman?
No, I saw that. Yeah.
Which means Shieldtrons are able to be used on your custom superstars, so...
Yeah, get ready for the Shield return, Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, and you all better name him Jon Moxley. I don't know who Dean Ambrose is.
Anyway, thanks for all for watching, and I hope all of you Have a fantastic day. Have a good one.